Good morning, everyone. This is Kathy Mason from MasonWorks Marketing here on Conscious Business Zone. And I am so excited today to have my friend Suzanna Kennedy, who is stateside. She's usually in Hawaii for the holidays. And she is here in California. And I'm so excited to have everyone learn more about her new program called Sacred Union Reprogramming that I think is the opportunity of a lifetime to shift who you are so quickly and give you an expanded worldview. So welcome, Suzanna.
Thank you. Thank you. So glad to be here with you, Kathy.
Oh, I'm so excited. So, Suzanna, tell us a little bit about the journey to this new program, because there is quite an amazing story that goes with your development, 20-year development, really, of this program.
Yeah. Well, it all started in 1997 when I had what the Hindus call a spontaneous Kundalini awakening. So I woke up one morning with this energy running up my spine, and I said, "Oh my God, what's happening?" And I heard a voice that answered me, actually, that said, "You're giving birth to yourself. Just breathe." So I had two children. So I did the Lamaze breath, the birthing breath, and it lasted about an hour and a half. And when it was done, I felt like a new person. So I did feel like something had been birthed into my body, and I could feel the vastness of, all that is this beingness that was so big and so full of love and so powerful, and realize that that's who I really am. That's who we all really are, but at the same time, I could see this, who I thought I was. So my self-identity, I could see that too. And I could see how small and limited that was compared to, this new me. And I actually saw it, I envisioned it as a computer program. And and then I thought, I have to somehow delete that computer program if I want to be and do what I came here to do. Because when I came in at that presence, it had a mission. I had a mission, and it's like, I don't know what it is, but I got to find out and do it. It's very mission oriented. And so the first part of my mission was to find a way to get rid of that limiting subconscious programming that made me believe that I was that limited being. And so I did. I was guided to a modality that helped me to clear that out. And also it also helped me to ground in and integrate this new aspect of me, this higher aspect of me. So for other people who've had a Kundalini awakening, they know that it's a bit uncomfortable to find, all of a sudden have who you think you are ripped out from under you. And, and then you feel all of this, and your metaphysical gifts come online right away. And you don't know. Sometimes you think you're crazy. Everybody else thinks you're crazy. And, so you need to ground it in and integrate it. So I found a way to do that, which I actually share with people now who've had that experience. But anyway, I found this method to help clear the subconscious programming, and not only the subconscious programming, but that programming, those beliefs about yourself, create your reality going forward. And it's creating a limited reality. and what you want to, and those events that it creates in your life, a lot of them are painful, a lot of them are traumatic, and they have a emotional component that's attached to the memory of those events. And that further validates for your sense of self, your ego, the belief. And so we're always, creating these programs, these patterns in our life that validate and make those beliefs even stronger. So the method that I came upon not only clears the subconscious programming, but the emotional content that we have in our energy field that we carry with us, because most of us are programmed not to express ourselves fully and emotionally. And so if we haven't expressed ourselves in the moment that we're having that emotion, then it gets stuck in our energy field. So it clears that. So I did that for myself. It was so, I was so impressed with this modality. It worked so well that I certified to do it as a practitioner. And that took me, and I was still getting the guidance. I left Michigan, which is where I was before, and I went to Sedona, Arizona, and I started to practice this. And as I practiced it and had clients, the voice, the guiding voice stayed with me and asked me to change it, to upgrade it, to evolve it to the next level. And so that's when I created from that the Emotional Mental Detox Program. So that's been out in a digital format for like 20 years. And
I want to stop you because I want you to share all of this, but I want people to understand what a gift that part is, because the emotional mental detox allows you, if you have done any personal work, which this whole time period has allowed for millions of people to do personal work the past 3 years of this, whatever you want to call it. There's a need to recalibrate your reality. What happens is, if you release, nature abhors a vacuum. So if you release one program, it's almost like a defrag on a computer. It has to rearrange and come up with some other perspective of reality. And what you've done by having this emotional mental detox program, which we're going to talk about how it's even better now and it's changed, is you've given people a way to integrate things that aren't that easy to integrate. I wish I had it 20 years ago when I had a spiritually transformative experience. I already knew I had a different worldview, but I called it a costume, that it felt like, how Barbie's going to do this. So you put that outfit on her, and then Barbie's going to do that. As a little girl, you put that on. That's what we were doing. That's what we were doing until we decided we don't need the costume. But you think to be people pleasing, or to be accepted in your peer group, to be part of your family, you have your role in that. None of those characters or costumes serve us in any way anymore. But we don't, some people that are listening to this are going to go, yes, I'm ready to get rid of those costumes, those programs, those worldviews, and be the dynamic expression of source embodied, right?
right.
But see, what you created was a way to do that. There's lots of people that'll talk about the spiritual side, go meditate, go to a cave, wear funny clothes, speak another language. Well, I mean, there's all different paths to it, But they say after enlightenment, before enlightenment, gather water, chop wood. After enlightenment, gather water, chop wood. But your worldview is blown. And if your security, there's a lot of fear of releasing that old program because you don't know that there's something so much better. Could you maybe talk about that first before we go to the new program, about the benefits of releasing these programs?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the programs, first of all, you know, you have to realize what they are and what they how they came to be. So in the first 7 years of our life, we're in our right hemisphere of our brain is most activated. And so we're just taking in everything in our environment without any filters. And so whatever keeps happening over and over again, you know, what we're doing is we're building our self-identity, we're building our ego. And so for anyone who's an adult, if you understand that your ego is your 7-year-old self locked in, that's what it is. And so most adults are wounded 7-year-olds walking around in an adult body. So even if you had the greatest parents that were really loving and compassionate and conscious, that programming is still obsolete. You know, however old you are, you're not 7, right? So clearing that, the benefit of clearing that allows you to mature into your true self. And so the benefit of that is that you allow your soul to really embody and allow your soul to express itself without any filters, without any distortions, without any limits. And that is our soul purpose. I mean, so many people come to me and say, I want to know what my soul purpose is. That is what it is. First and foremost is you need to get your soul into your body, radiating from your heart with, you know, without any limitations. So, and, you know, all of the relationship programming, you know, so thinking back to your early childhood, your first 7 years, what was the relationship dynamic in your world, in your family? And so that's the kind of programming that you adopted or adapted to. And that is what has been projecting and repeating. So all of those repeating patterns that you have, all of those triggers, those hot buttons, all of those can be cleared away so that you can stay present. We hear about being mindful. We hear about being present. It's really difficult to do if you have triggers, because those triggers send you into the subconscious, the unconscious. And how can you be present when you're playing an old program?
So can
yeah.
you share some experience examples of how people, because you've been doing this for 20 years, and some of the people that have worked with you have just blossomed afterwards. So, because I want to reassure the audience that this journey is logical, there's a process to it, that it's safe, but it is beyond your wildest dreams of your life, your happiness, your joy, your creativity. And so if you could share some examples of that, that would be great.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll share Rosanna. So Rosanna is, she came to me a few years ago. She is a yoga instructor. She had a full load of teaching. So all of her classes were filled But as a yoga instructor, even when you've got things going on every day, you can't make above a certain amount of money, and you can't serve. She wanted to serve at a bigger level. So she went through the Emotional Mental Detox program, and she blossomed into this incredible leader who has just written a new book. She's been interviewed all over the place, and she's really a star now. And the other thing was that she just had, she had really troubled relationships in her early years. And so she wasn't able to connect with a partner in a deep way or hold on to a relationship. And now she has got, I think it's been at least a year, maybe 2 years, she finally attracted her Sacred Union partner, who is wonderful, and who, she's blossomed into her goddess self. And he is so supportive, and just what you would want the divine masculine to be. So that's one example. Some, smaller examples of people going through, like what happens in the first couple sessions is you clear away your fear of abandonment. And the fear of abandonment causes us to do so many things, like you were mentioning, saying yes when you really want to say no, not having good boundaries, doing things for people, in order to be approved of, or because you're afraid if you're not nice, if you're not helping them all the time, if you're not saving them, that, you're going to be left behind. So when you clear that fear of abandonment and that fear goes away, you become much more confident and much more able to articulate what your boundaries are and even defend them if you need to. One of the women that I remember more recently was talking about, she grew up with these brothers, and they were older than her and bigger than her and always teasing her, and, kind of an abusive situation, not physically, but really kind of torturing her emotionally. And, here she's an adult. She's looking at coming up to the Thanksgiving, and being with family. And she did the emotional mental detox, the first session. I think it was just the first session, which has to do with clearing all the male issues, all of the misinformation that we've taken in about men and males and male energy. And anyway, she just did the first session, and then she went to her Thanksgiving with her brothers, and she said it was a totally different reality, that they didn't tease her, that they respected her, that she didn't feel intimidated, she didn't feel afraid to express herself. It was like a totally different reality for her. And I love when people do it coming up to the holidays, because you're with your family, and they're the ones that created all the triggers with you. They're the ones that put those hot buttons there. So it's a really good test of it working, because you see the difference. And most of all is, like, if you're with your family and you watch, your family is still programmed.
Oh, yep. Oh,
But you're not anymore. And so they try to push your button.
that's right.
Especially your brothers, right? They're going to try to push your buttons, and you don't react. You just like smile at them, and kind of like
fun.
And they, they get tired of trying to push your buttons when they can't, and then they go on and
no, they'll try something else if that fails after a couple of attempts. That's all.
Yeah.
But it's also
to somebody else.
but we coalesce to that role if we don't know any better. So,
Right.
so we took that role in the family unit, and then so you're always the black sheep, or you're always this, or you're always that. And then if you don't change the program that you're running, you accept that role again. You go, oh, family, this is how the costume I wear there. Suzanna, before we talk and show a little bit about the Sacred Union Reprogramming class, which is even better than what you're talking about, could you talk a little bit about self-love?
Mm.
Because people talk about it and talk about self-talk and all of that, but this is really an opportunity to really love yourself at a different level than we even knew was possible. We would say the ministers, the religious, mystical people that had studied it or spent their lifetime were the ones who could access this, the longing that Rumi has in it. But we as just mere humans really were never taught about self-love. Certainly women, it was selfish to do all that stuff for yourself. Could you talk, because I think that's one of the huge benefits of what you're doing. So
Yeah.
would you mind talking about that, please?
Yeah. Well, one thing I'd like to start out and distinguish is because I've seen this, is a person can have self-love really and still have a inner critic. Okay, so and we can clear the inner critic as well, but to me, self-love is having compassion for yourself. So compassion is acceptance, allowance, unconditional love. And when I was talking about clearing abandonment issues, and you come into the respect for yourself, and you can create healthy boundaries, and you're making choices that are life affirming. You're making choices that are aligned with your soul purpose or aligned with your highest good. So those are expressions of self-love. And along the way, so even in the emotional mental detox, we work with the mental judgment part a little bit later. But right in the beginning, you're clearing out the abandonment issues. You're clearing out the misconceptions about the male and the female energies and programming. And so coming into self-love is self-respect and compassion, and knowing that in the past you had this programming, and so you had no choice but to live from that programming, and to be able to accept that and allow yourself to have unconditional love, even though you had that conditioning and programming, and then see that you don't have that anymore, and how your life expands, and how you start to attract people who are more respectful and more honoring, because you are respecting yourself. You're honoring yourself. You're taking care of yourself. And it's not selfish. It's how can you even serve anyone if you aren't full of the love that you are? And so self-love is letting go of all of the filters, all of the conditioning that says that you are not love, because love is what we are. We are love in a body. We are infinite love in a body, expressing as a human and that's what we are. And love isn't a transaction. It isn't something that you do. It's what you are. And so taking away the filters and any distortions that say you're anything less than that, then you're in self-love. You allow love to flow through you,
right?
And radiate. And that's where we're getting to here.
Yes. So, and the other part of this, I want to let the audience know is that in my belief system, and I'll stand corrected if you want to correct me. When your soul selected the family unit for you to have your experiences, it also planned on you having the challenge of releasing their traumas and their parents' traumas and their grandparents' traumas on national traumas, gender traumas, whatever it was. So what we're talking about is not just a quick fix that just fixes you. It fixes your future and the future generations, as well as the past generations, where the frequency of fear is present. And that's what we're reading in our family unit, is we're being imprinted from 0 to 7. And 0 really is 0, because as you're in gestation, you are picking up frequencies from your parents. So could you talk just a little bit, because Bruce Lipton is one of your referred providers, or you're a referred provider from Bruce Lipton's website, and he talks about it as epigenetics, and he refers people to you because your system does work to change to change at a DNA level. So do you want to just talk a little bit about that as well?
Yeah, well, the emotional mental detox, and then, of course, the Sacred Union Reprogramming. When we are doing this work, we're setting commands that a computer understands, right? So that's what we're working with. And part of the command is that this is multidimensional. So all times, all realities, all levels of consciousness, all waves and particles I am, get cleared. And anything that your ancestors haven't resolved by the time you are like 6 months in the womb gets transferred into you. And I know a lot of people have even come through this lifetime to clear ancestral lineage, and when you clear it at the level of your DNA is, quantum physics tells us we're entangled. So we're entangled with everyone that has our DNA back and forward in time. So you clear it for yourself, and then you clear it for your children. So I have a lot of parents that come to me that are they're doing the work on themselves, but they're also doing it for their children and for their grandchildren and their ancestral line going forward. It also works with past lives and alternate lives and all of the other ways that we are present in creation. So it's very multidimensional, and so it's very systematic, it's multidimensional, and it kind of doesn't leave a stone unturned, really.
Well, that's what's so exciting, is that if you feel that it begins and stops with me, which a lot of people do get that input, that when they're in meditation, or that the release is their responsibility, then you know that you are affecting much more than yourself. in a loving way.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about reality crafting then too, is before we go. And I do have the site up if you want me to show it for you when we get to show about the class, okay?
Okay.
But could you, so in your first book, you talked about reality crafting, and then in this new book, you've talked about reality crafting as sacred union ascending to a 5D paradise. So you are clear enough on your process that you're able to share it in all different ways. Share the information and your story of how you came to understand reality crafting. So we were benefited by you explaining your first part of your story. Could you talk a little bit about reality crafting?
Yeah, reality crafting to me is it's kind of happening on two levels. One is, and we call it reality crafting 5.0. So it's a transformational process that starts with clearing out the old and then bringing in the new true you, and then becoming a conscious creator and creating your version of paradise on earth, and then taking up your sacred service in the world. So that's the reality crafting as a process, as a transformational process. But also I do reality crafting sessions, and that's also the difference between the emotional mental detox and the sacred union reprogramming, is this way that I have developed to very quickly, instantly, recrafting or recreating your reality. So what we do is we align with the I am presence, which is the creative source within you, that's always in you. And from that creative authority, we set a new intention for the new reality. So I usually do one aspect of your reality at a time. And so say we're working with your relationship with men and male energy and your mind, and we create the upgraded version of that relationship. So within yourself, your inner male, and then all males, and we set an intention for the new reality. And then once that's set, we look for any resistance to that. So the resistance could be your beliefs. The resistance could be emotional energy that hasn't been resolved. The resistance could be, you could perceive it as outside of yourself, although it's not. But if you perceive it that way, so we look for all the resistance, we clear the resistance. We not only clear it, but we transform resistance energy into creative energy. So now that energy that was resisting is also fueling your new reality. And then we anchor that in, and it very quickly, and we integrate it. We also have as a foundation to integrate this gracefully. So that is a real foundational principle in all of the work that I do, is to have a graceful integration and transformation. So I've been called, the expert in graceful transformations. And I love that and really own that, because not all transitions are graceful. Or, we talk about healing crisis, and we talk about all kinds of things that create change, but not in a graceful, quick, and easy way. So we anchor the new reality in and see that it gracefully unfolds over time in a way that is comfortable for you, that you can keep up with, that you don't, you're not busy trying to deal with too much change at once.
Right. Or like a near-death experience where you have physical discomfort as well as a consciousness expansion at once, and then you spend the rest of your life having to integrate that instead of what you're offering is a glimpse into the divine and the aspect of you that is divine, and then tools that are time tested, so they're not, oh, they just downloaded today. They're time tested and tried and true tools that have worked for yourself and many, many, many others that allow you to open the door to joy and bliss and creation at a high level. That when Jesus said, let us be like children, that's what he was talking about, is like a little kid that's playing in the sand and making a sand castle. We were always supposed to expand consciousness with our co-creations. And we got sidetracked maybe, or fearful of sustaining life. I think a lot of it came from a core not just abandonment, but survival instincts that are still running. Could you share a little bit about your capacity to reality craft? Because when you changed and expanded to a new awareness and then found these tools, you actually started reality crafting at a whole different level. And that's where, that's what I would love if you are comfortable with sharing about that, so that people understand this isn't theory. It you did it first, and then you've done it for others. Okay.
Yeah, well, I started out I grew up in Michigan near Detroit, and my programming told me I had to get married and have children. So I did that. And I had gotten a Master's of Science degree, and I was an instructional designer. So I worked for a consulting firm. And so I had been married, I had 2 teenage children, I was very successful in my career, but I was feeling unfulfilled, even though I had, what was called the American dream. There was something inside of me telling me that I was here to do more and that there was more to be experienced. And so from that point, reality crafting, what I did was I created a whole new reality. And from being a corporate consultant to moving to Sedona, Arizona, and enjoying all the energies there and having a healing practice that just organically attracted to me. And I did that for 2 years. And then I was ready to go on to the next level. So I created the reality that I was in, which is what I always wanted, was to live on an island and to be surrounded by the ocean and to be in paradise. So I ended up in Kauai, Hawaii, which is one of the most feminine energies on earth that really support me and support the work that I do. And so I was there for a year, and then I was downloading what became the Divine Human Upgrade Program. So that was part of my manifesting, is being able to tap into the higher dimensions and then use my skills that I had as a consultant in the corporate world to create these programs that are very systematic. And because I have a training background, I'm a master's in instructional design, so I can use what I had before. And but bringing in from the higher dimensions. And then I was like ready for my sacred union partner. So I set up I set myself some time, and I, wrote down, what do I want in a sacred union partnership? And so I created my model, my intention. And then I did a little ceremony and, sent it off. And 6 weeks later, I met my sacred union partner and my dear Casey. And we've been together now for 19 years. We just celebrated our 19th year together. No, our 21st year together, our 19th wedding anniversary. Anyway, so, and we've, together, we have created one beautiful home after another. So right now we are on 2.5 acres of beautiful land in the organic farming district of Kauai and surrounded by beautiful trees and coconut trees and all kinds of fruit trees and gardens. And, so I'm totally living in my paradise on earth. And, that's what I like to help other people create, whatever paradise is for them.
Right.
Because I've heard other people say, well, I'm in paradise here in California, or I'm in paradise here in Tennessee, or, whatever, wherever that
in
is.
Colorado.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Well, this is what I wanted everyone to understand, is that this is truly possible for you. You may have dreams and thought, oh, it's too late for me, or I can't do this, but really, truly you can. And because I've done Landmark Forum, and I did Avatar, those are very disciplined and hard. It's a hard path to this new reality we're talking about, where you are co-creating with the universe and others in love and joy, rather than the struggle or the self-defining role. Because what Suzanna's offering is, by when you release the programs or the stinking thinking that you have, you have a chance to experience and put a different memory bank together, where what you thought about something that happened, you change that whole way of looking at it, and the people playing the role. You really get to expand your worldview. And that's what I'm hoping. This is the key to us solving a lot of the issues that we have in the world right now and get to 5D. The 3D patterning, when it's released, you get to a new problem-solving level, correct?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, well, the fifth dimension is a lot more fluid. It's a lot more flexible. And that means that, your thoughts create no matter what dimension you're in. But sometimes it takes a while. There seems to be, we perceive a time lag between what we want to create and what we see coming back to us. In the fifth dimension, that's very quick. And your frequency is what determines what dimension you get to experience. So it's imperative that you clear this third and fourth dimensional thought processes and the emotional energy that they created in order to be able to enter into that paradise reality, because Mother Earth was originally created in a fifth dimensional blueprint, in a fifth dimensional environment, and she has been released from all of the things that were keeping her in the third and fourth dimension. So, and that's quite recently. So she is free. And she is ascending very quickly. She's raising her vibration. And because we're, on the surface of her, beautiful body, we entrain with her higher frequencies. And if we don't consciously choose to entrain with her and to move and ascend with her, raise our vibration with her, what happens is all of those frequencies from the past, all of those obsolete programs, they're going to come up to the surface to be released as dramas. Okay, so if we don't consciously take those and keep them in a nice alchemical container, which is what I teach you to create, and clear it within that alchemical container, it gets released as a drama. Yeah. And so what you're afraid of, manifests. And, once you're in that, it's hard to get out and see that it's just being released as a detoxification. So the planet's in a big detox right now of all of the past energies. And even Mother Earth is releasing the trauma that was stored in her surface body.
Do you want to share about the group that you've held that did help with this development for the Earth and created a vibration to help birth this new time period that we're evolving to? I want to make sure people understand that not everyone is saying this is the end of the world. Not everyone is all afraid about everything. Some people are shepherding or midwifing this new earth and that's what Suzanna's been doing with a group for years.
Yeah. Well, that group started in 2005, and we called it the Paradise Builders Group. And what I was told was that there was going to come a time when we would be shifting to this higher dimension. But in order to do that, there was some preparation. So I was kind of on that preparation team, and some of the people that I had worked with, I had already been, in 2004, I started doing teleclasses. That was the technology that allowed me to be in my paradise in the middle of the ocean and still reach people. So anyway, we connected with a group of beings that were from lots of different races who had been dedicated to this ascension of Earth and of humanity. And they guided us to do this energy work on the planet that was to dismantle the enslavement grid. So there was actually a grid that we could see. And so we created what we call the sovereignty grid, which was the safety net, so that when all of this that was created out of the illusion of separation and the enslavement grid, when that fell apart, there was something safe to fall into. There was a backup plan. And I was told, and again, this was in 2005, that beings from the higher dimension had incarnated into this planet, taken on a human mantle, and were coming with the higher dimensional technologies that would support life. And that they would be ready at the time when the other stuff fell apart to bring this new stuff there. So I know, and I've seen, that these higher dimensional beings pretending to be human have brought their technologies through, and they're all ready to go. So as the old falls apart, we can have confidence that there is new paradise technologies to support us going forward, and they're all ready to go right now. And so when you really understand that and align with that, align your heart and your soul and your mind with this, we're coming into that thousands year of peace, into the age of Aquarius. It's all right there and ready for us. And align with that and put our attention and our intention on aligning with that so that we can experience that.
That's beautiful. Yes, that's why I think there's so many people will be interested in doing this work with you, because it's much bigger than just our trauma dramas that we're wasting our life force on. Well, it's much more than that. But it is, even if it is that you have tried other programs, and either you got the spiritual side, but you couldn't get the functioning in the in this world side, and you're still burdened with things that you don't serve you. You have anger, you have triggers, you're concerned about how you're creating your reality, because we are creating all of this every moment. And we just forgot that that's the case. This work with Suzanna is an incredible gift, because not only is it practical, it is spiritual at every level. And this new work is even higher frequency spiritual. So right now I'd like to show the website. I showed the Sacred Union page. And Suzanna, would you like to just speak to it? I'm going to get off video, okay?
Okay. So so ultimate liberation. So that's the kind of the hallmark for this, is breaking free from the chains of the hidden programming. And we want to eliminate the limitations that are encoded in your DNA and detox those self-sabotaging programs from your system. The Sacred Union Reprogramming it's starting January 15th, Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific time. That's when we're starting. And this is going to be an 8-week group event. So we're going to walk through this together, and we're going to realign your blueprint with divine wholeness. And I'm very excited about that. So the course structure is over 8 weeks. So it's once a week for 8 weeks on the Monday evening. And it's going to be live group coaching. And it's about probably an hour and a half, really, for each session. And you're going to learn the techniques. We're actually not even learn it. You're going to do it along with me. I'm going to guide you to dissolve those subconscious triggers and the emotional blockage, and also give you strategies for, when things also come up after that. So in our sessions, each session, we will do one of these energetic transformational reprogramming sessions. And then that week that follows, you're going to be integrating it and grounding it and making it part of your reality. So this is for anyone who wants deep transformation, emotional healing, and a stronger connection with your inner higher self. And so some of the things that you might experience after is you're going to be living each moment from your true soul essence, and creating nourishing, soul nourishing relationships based on your authenticity and not of fear, not your wounded patterns. We're going to replace all of those wounded patterns with authenticity, real true self energy and expression. And you'll be able to move through life's challenges that are coming up, because, this is that time when things are coming up, but you're going to be able to feel grounded and centered and at peace, even though there may be chaos going on around you. And you're going to be able to think and act from your highest intuitive inner knowing. And you'll be able to tap into and dwell for longer and longer periods of time in joy, in inner peace, and the self-love. So these are the things that you'll be able to do. We've got some people here that have taken the Sacred Union Reprogramming course, and this is what they have to say, so you can listen to their testimonials. And we've already talked about me and my journey. So imagine that you are receiving intuitive guidance and energy transmission. So I'm only going to have 15 people in this course. I'm going to keep it small so that everybody in that hour and a half gets attention and gets to ask questions. And since I'm doing this in my reality crafting way, I'm tapping into the energy of the group and all of the individuals in the group. And the reason that I'm doing this course live instead of the digital program that the Emotional Mental Detox is because everyone is going to be different because of the people who are coming and enrolling. So all of your individual energies that you want to transform to a higher state will be addressed in this. And so I can feel into the energy of the group as well as feeling into the energy of each individual. So you'll get your questions answered personally. And, we have that community feeling. So you're with 14 other people who are on the same path. And when they ask their questions, it could be enlightening for you. When you ask your questions, it's enlightening for them. When they're have a challenge that maybe you have, but you haven't brought to the forefront, they bring it there. Everybody benefits from everybody else. It's really a beautiful synergy that happens in these small groups. So we have the proven roadmap. So that is, we're going to actually follow the same 6 core issues that I've identified that everybody has in common. So we're going to start out, session 1 is going to be getting you ready for the 6 core issue transformations. And then the last session, that's why we have 8 instead of 6. So we have a preparation and then we have an integration at the end, so that we really integrate all of the transformations and ground them into your reality, so that you really leave being the new true you. So we have the weekly sessions are about 90 minutes. We have the private community where you can connect with people in between our live sessions. Everything is recorded. So if you can't make it live, you can listen to the replay, and the replays go up right after our live. And I've had people in this last class that the time wasn't good for them. It was in the middle of the night or whatever. And they followed along with just the replays and still got the full benefit of the transformation. So it comes with a downloadable journal so that you can keep track of the changes. It's really good to document what you're thinking and what you're feeling and what you're experiencing as you go along. And so you wake up with the feeling that your true self is expressing through your body now, and not that obsolete programming. And so, and you've changed your frequency, you've raised your frequency. And so all of the opportunities of the fifth dimensional reality start to be attracted to you. And all of the sort of the third dimensional dysfunctional things are not attracted to you anymore. So you really get a change in your reality. And people from this last class have been talking about the new opportunities that have been coming along, and the unexpected financial gifts, and unexpected doors that have opened, and communities that they've been invited into that were just not even in the radar before they took the class. So
what I want people to understand is that we kind of just quickly went over the fact that you're still expanding. You've been in 5D seriously for 20 years. And now you're still expanding and having more access to much higher realms. And that this course isn't just a recorded course. This is an instructor-led course where the connection to the I am source energy is available for every participant. And it's recorded, and it also is available on the recording. So this is a big opportunity. It's structured in a linear way, so people that are more scientific or more left brain can see that there's that. But if you want that and the spiritual, you get it all. And that is a rarity. I think it's, plus you have hand holding as you're integrating.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I love doing these live group calls, is because it's just everybody learns and raises up together. And I had, in the last class, I had half of the class were people that have done everything that I've ever offered. They've done the emotional mental detox. They've done reality crafting with me. And I was actually kind of surprised that they signed up, because I thought they had all that. And they were blown away and said that this took them to a much higher level. So, and it has to do with what you were saying, is that I've expanded and been able to access the higher frequencies beyond the eighth dimension, the seventh and eighth dimension currently. And, they could actually feel the difference, and that things were happening, transformation was happening at a much higher frequency, much deeper. And they said even more graceful than before.
Isn't that wonderful? Because we really want to belay people's fears of doing this work, that they're going to be disoriented, all their relationships will change. It isn't that. You get to be you. You get to drop all of the filters that are running, programs that are running that keep you from being the love that you are. And then once you do that, you're meeting a community of others that are that want to play. So you have the potential to have a whole new family of friends and co-creators, co-conspirators, whatever you want to call it, but co-creators, really, because that's really what this new era of mankind offers, is us all coming to a different reality that is more equitable, more full of love, more full of ease and grace. The drama model doesn't have to be the only learning model. It obviously served consciousness to have it for some time period. thousands of years, but it hopefully, as we're going into the age of Aquarius, and we're certainly being upgraded with the rays from the sun every day. We're getting more and more CMEs or large solar flares. Where there's a change of guard. And if you're ready to take your place as a leader or as a co-creator in that change, Suzanna's Sacred Union Reprogramming course, which is again instructor led. So this is not just an online recorded course. This is where you get feedback right away and useful information of how to integrate this new perspective into your life. Once you have that, you have unlimited possibilities. And that's what I want for everybody.
Yeah, me too. And yeah, all the graduates get invited to the Illuminators Circle. So if they would like to continue with this community because every other week we get together and we continue to upgrade and raise our vibration and then do world service.
Yeah.
So a lot of the things that we have co-created in our Illuminators Circle, we see unfolding in the world is just quite amazing.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, there's that opportunity as well.
So again, there is a new class starting in January on the 15th. It's on the 15th and 15 people are invited, only 15. So, and Suzanna, where's the best place for everyone to find out more about that?
Yeah, it's SuzannaKennedy.com/SUR for Sacred Union Reprogramming.
Perfect. Perfect. So I can't recommend this enough. I'm just so privileged to know about it and have experienced Suzanna for I don't know if it's been a year almost. So yeah. So you guys, this is the opportunity to really be the gift that you are. You stood in line to get these bodies to be here right now and show up in your powerful but loving and graceful way to help humanity. So thank you, Suzanna. And everyone will have the descriptions and the live links available for you so that you can easily find Suzanna's information, and you will be so glad you did. So thank you. Aloha.
Aloha.